Up.
Doing all right.
How you doing?
I'm excellent. You get to talk Titans, nice shirt.
Thank you. I had to.
So after 3 seasons, how do you keep things fresh and new when it comes to the story?
Well, one of the challenges to write for Titans is that you have so many darn characters, and the old style of Titans comic books was throwing characters in every Wednesday's in a character. That's a real challenge in television writing because it's you have to service them, and we have all these talented actors, and suddenly you have 20 children you have to feed. But on the other hand, there's a lot of stories you can go into, and so on the plus side is, every year we've done some version of an origin story for our characters. This year we're able to kind of focus on 2 characters in specific in both Garlogan Beast Boy and Superboy, and to a greater extent with an overall for Coriander's Starfire, to really focus on these characters' bigger story as it relates to either origin or an unraveling / shedding of their old skin, or kind of understanding what they were really meant to do. So we can always pull from these characters and go deeper into them.
So in the past, Dick Grayson has sort of played a bit of a father figure to especially the younger Titans, but this season he kind of gets a second chance with a second Robin protege. And how is his style different with him than it was with Grayson?
Well, it's a really great question because, being a parent myself, you get a second chance with the second kid to make up for your mistakes the first time around. And I think that Tim Drake's so fundamentally different from Jason Todd in terms of both his upbringing. He had a family. Jason Todd didn't, as we know. He has loving parents that are still alive. Jason Todd's, doesn't know where his mom is, even if she's alive. So he's a more balanced kid to deal with. Now, Jason Todd wasn't trained by Batman, Tim Drake wasn't trained by Batman, which is both good and bad in a lot of ways. So Tim Drake is someone doesn't have the street smarts, I think, ultimately, that Jason Todd did, though he has off-the-charts intelligence and instincts. So he's able to, I think a good leader works with the student he or she has, and so he's working specifically with Tim Drake's traits.
One of my favorite things about the show is how you are able to bring in new characters and keep everything balanced and keep them all developed. How do you get that balance? And are there any characters, like your dream characters, that you would like to bring in down the road in future seasons?
Well, in terms of finding the balance, that's the hardest thing, for sure. Servicing the characters, we have such great actors, and they're all there to really want to dive into good material. Nobody's taken a vacation in Toronto for 9 months. Everybody wants something meaty to chew on. So giving them something interesting is, over time, an evolving task, and we get better at it, I think, in kind of understanding what is interesting. There are always missteps, and our fans will remind us loudly of those. But we're really trying to create a balance, but at the same time give them a bunch to do. And that's the tension. But yeah, thanks for saying that. It's been really, the fun of it is kind of finding a character you haven't dealt with before and really gone deep into it, going, now we're going to go in there. And how does that affect everybody? And it's a family show, so essentially anytime a character gets a challenge, Superboy gets a challenge, Ryan gets a challenge in terms of where they are in their life, the family's going to bear that. It's going to break the family up, it's going to cause it tension and stress, and then we get to see how everybody else evolves to it. Thank you.
For season 4, each season deals with, you're telling a story, it's about family, it's about various other things. Without giving too much away, can you tell us for season 4 what you hope the audience takes away from it thematically?
Well, I think we ask and answer a lot of questions that have been kind of hanging out about Titans the entire time. We talk a lot about Dick and Corey. We talk and their relationship and how it evolves. We talk a lot about the stress of the family and what family looks like as the kids get older. I'm excited about that on a character level. I mean, look, we have such great actors. I'm so excited for the fans to see these characters and these actors play these characters. They bring them to life so vividly. It's fun to watch. Plus, kick-ass fights. I mean, I think some of the best fights we've ever done this season or this year. I'm as proud as I am of our cinematography, and we just won an ASC award this year, which no superhero shows do. We won the CSC awards in Canada. The show looks beautiful, but that fight team is state of the art. They just take it to another level. And then our effects. So because we're going to the worlds of horror and supernatural, it's bloody and gross and sickening and fun in the best possible way.
Excellent.
So given that you guys are having Brother Blood finally being adapted into the series for season 4, I guess the question I'll have to ask is, what is the most difficult thing about trying to navigate the horror elements of this series? Because I mean, you guys have gone into darker territory before. You dealt with Trigon and other guys, but dealing with Brother Blood, like, what was the most difficult thing about adapting him to his overall story as an antagonist of the Titans?
Well, two things. One, I think making it grounded, because our show is grounded in nature, so we couldn't just go into full fantasy land. We had to kind of. It's always a challenge to make it feel real, and so we think of the movies that we're thinking about more like John Carpenter's The Thing, Exorcist, a movie that's more kind of, I hate this term, psychological horror, because we have non-psychological horror, we have beasts and blood and viscera, but so I think that's the biggest challenge, is having it match our tone and just not just throwing it, just being like, horror for horror's sake.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, great questions. No, that's your
you very
phone. I'm
much.
not taking that. No, let's switch phones.
You can have it.
Thanks, man. Thank you for watching the show and supporting the show.
Thank you.
What's that?
Can I take a picture?
Oh, please, yes.
You want to get in? I can move it.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, want to get yourself too?
No, it's good. You do your thing.
Gotcha. I'll just take a quick
Phone real quick.